everybody. This is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and the promoter for Plastic City Comic Con. And I am here with another comic review. Before we get into that, just a reminder, Plastic City Comic Con is August 19th, Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Game On Sports Complex. We are $10 admission. Over 250 artists, writers, crafters, vendors, video game tournaments, all you can think of for $10. Kids 12 and under are free, and free parking. You won't find a better con for the price anywhere in New England and probably the country. So check it out. Plastic City Comic Con is where it's happening, August 19th. All right, on to this month's review. I'm trying to get back into these comic reviews since I went a long time, a couple months without doing any. And I've had a few amazing books come through that I wanted to talk about. And this one I ordered on my normal comic order. And I did, I guess it was crowdfunded at first, but this comic is called The R.I.G.H.T Project, and the creative team on this is Tom DeFalco is the writer, Ron Frenz is the artist, and Sal Buscema is the inker on this one. And if you know those names, you know classic Marvel. I was actually surprised to see a new comic from these guys and a new company that I never heard of called Apex Comics Group. But they were in previews a couple months ago, and I think I might have highlighted it on my indie spotlight. But I finally got the book, and I was able to sit down, read it, and go through it. So let me first start with a short summary, and I'm going to read this right off of their Indiegogo project. A superhero for anyone who sincerely loves superheroes. A teenage video gamer joins a digital daredevil for truth, justice, and a universe of hoo-ha, action, and angst. While working on the R.I.G.H.T Project, an attempt to develop a new technology that allows computer constructs to assume physical mass, Dr. Dex Click stumbles upon the new champ of split-second adventure, but Mr. Right is little more than a soulless animatronic until he bonds with Jeffrey Player One Lopez. Since Jeffrey is a true believer, he helps transform a heartless avatar into a compassionate and relentless hero, the true hero who lives within us all. That's great. So that pretty much sums it up. It's a digital hero, but it also has like that young kid element, and it was really a lot of fun. And so the artwork was top notch. I felt like I was reading an old Marvel book, which that's the highest compliment I could give the book. It has a nice classic look to it, and it's all super heroics and biff bam boom and all that kind of stuff. The lettering was great, and the stories were fun. There was like 3 stories in the book. There was 2 main ones and then like a backup, I guess. And the main ones were probably about 10 pages each, and then the backup I think was like 6, maybe 8. And so my other thoughts about it, it reminds me, if you like superheroes with a class, like when I read this, I felt like I was a little kid again and reading comics that I grew up with Marvel, of the 80s and the 70s. That's what it felt like. And you could tell it's because these guys were making comics at Marvel at that time, and the other thing I really liked about this character was it reminded me of, if you like superheroes like Captain Marvel, where it's like a little kid like Billy Batson that transforms into a superhero. That's kind of what this is. And it reminded me a lot of, I don't know if you remember that Malibu book. It was called Prime. And it was the same thing. It was a kid that could turn into a superhero. And there's been other versions of this, but this was like taking like a modern spin, like the kid is a video gamer, and the the actual comic superhero, Mr. Right, is sort of like an avatar of like this computer thing, like a hard light projection, I think. And it had some interesting elements, like if Mr. Right got hit, the kid would feel the pain, things like that. So it was interesting. Better than the Avatar movie. So, but along those same lines, So, and it was the classic feel of it was worth the price alone. If I had any critiques about this book, was that much like old comics, very wordy, and I imagine like the wordiness comes in because the stories were condensed down to 10 pages each, and there was a lot more information to get across. That's what it felt like. Old Marvel books, some of those old ones are pretty wordy, almost to the point where the word, like the letterer is going to figure out how to letter the page because there's so many words, and you're trying not to trample on the artwork, but it's impossible when the writer's got a lot to say. So if that's one critique, I guess you know, I almost prefer like the book being, I almost would prefer if they took the first storyline, which was the origin, and kind of did one big story instead of two small ones. But and you can kind of let the artwork and the storyline kind of breathe a little bit. But I mean, if you come from that era, this is the kind of writing and this is the kind of look comics had at the time, so I didn't mind it. It just, it took me a lot longer to read than your typical comic, which I guess is a good thing. Like it depends, if you judge, the price of the book based on how much time you spend reading it, that kind of thing. But yeah, overall, I thought the character had a cool design look. Big R across the chest. Looked kind of like a very slick style. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I would recommend this, especially if you're a fan of classic superheroes, or if you're a fan of Tom DeFalco, Ron Frenz, or Sal Buscema. This stuff, they look like they haven't, like it looks like this was their next project after they left Marvel. Like there hasn't been a drop in quality since those guys left. So yeah, I would say check this out, especially if you like superhero books. So thumbs up. I would give this one a recommendation. And it's indie. It's an indie character that those guys own. So I'll have to keep an eye out on Apex Comics Group. I haven't, this is the first time I've seen them with a book. So I went to their website and it looks like they have a handful of books. So I will, I'll definitely have to check them out, keep an eye on them, see how they develop as indie comic company, So, but yeah, check out The Right Project from Tom DeFalco, Ron Frenz, and Sal Buscema. All right, everybody, that does it for this comic review. Come back join us Monday night. Johnny will be back from 2 conventions. He's back from San Diego and he went right into Terrificon. So I'm going to get a recap of those. But we also have guest Global Comics joining us. So if you know that name, they're the leading name in the digital comic realm right now. So come join us. They're going to show us some of their new features and new things that they've added to the site since we last talked to them. So we'll have the CEO and the marketing team on with us. So it'll be a good time. But all right, everybody, have a great week. And most importantly, read some comics. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. All right, bye.